Hello, welcome back to the Lotus Reiki Healer YouTube channel. Today I have a pick a card reading for you, and we will be discussing what do you have to be grateful for right now. I do have 4 piles here, and let's get into it. All right. Woo! Pile number 1 might have been called to other piles, so definitely check that out if that is the case. The King and Queen of Pentacles, as well as the World card and the Strength card. One of the realizations that I recently had, and when I say recently, I mean like right before this reading, I did a personal spread, and the realization that I had that the 4 of Cups can be depicting, because there's like a traditional way of seeing it, but the one that I identified was that the 4 of Cups in the original Rider-Waite tarot, she's so pretty. I love pretty black women. I just love everybody, right? But beautiful black women in my heart space. I see you. Yes, I see the queen in you, and so I see the queen in me when I see these women. So I said that the 4 of Cups in the Rider-Waite tarot depicts a young man, or a man in general, sitting under a tree with 3 cups nearest to him on the ground, kind of almost insinuating that those were his possessions. And then there is a floating cup that's kind of being offered by we'll call it, right, like an ungrounded being. It could be the divine, it could be whatever, and it typically means being unsatisfied. It also means it could mean a bunch of things. However, what I accepted was that the floating cup could mean a distraction from what already is. And so I would imagine that that's something that may or may not have already been. I have no idea what the word tabulated means. I don't even know if that is a word, but that was the word that came to my mind. I'm actually interested, but I won't stop the reading for this. Tabulated? It's a word. Wow. It means arranged in tabulated form. Order, organize, systemize, chart, set out, catalog, list. Okay. Well, that was definitely divine, because I didn't even know the word tabulated was a word. Never used it before in my life. And so what I was saying was that sure, I love that. So this is what I'm getting, and I think that that's why it came up so appropriately. So what I was saying is that the 4 of Cups, in the way that I have read it, and or what I said, was that it could have been already quote unquote tabulated or set up and or arranged or organized initially, to mean that the floating cup that is depicted in the original Rider-Waite tarot in the 4 of Cups card, it could be a distraction that is to insinuate that instead of focusing on what it is that you are unsatisfied with, and or what it is that you you might wish that certain things come to you in a certain fashion, or like, just kind of distracting you from realizing and experiencing what is already available. So I got the Four of Cups, the King and the Queen of Pentacles, and the World, as well as the Strength. And so for me personally, what am I seeing here? And let me tell you this, just in case you're new to tarot, I would definitely recommend that you appreciate readers that slow down to ground themselves and to really allow the reading and the messages to set in. There are readers that read very quickly, and they call it channeling, but for me personally, I think that that's ungrounded energy. And so I think the more grounded someone is in their own energy, as well as the reading itself, that's where the more accurate and impactful messages come from. So anyway, this is what I'm seeing. I am seeing that the pile one, I'm seeing that what you have to be grateful for is all of the different cycles that have happened in your life that have created strength for you to become a version of you that already is whole. And to try to bring in the Four of Cups in here, I just feel like, let me say this, pile one, I feel as if there are so many different positive qualities about you, first of all, right? That deserves a period at the end. But also there are so many positive qualities about the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles that people aspire for, or I'll say this, they strive for, or many people would die for. There are so many different qualities that you have that are in those Three of Cups that you have readily available to you, right? The king, or right, the king and the queen of Pentacles can insinuate that you're resourceful, that you are a solid individual. You might be super honest, in a way where people automatically give you their trust. And that speaks towards your character. And a lot of times where other persuasion techniques may fail, there are positive natural qualities that someone may have, like trustworthiness, like credibility and strength and character, that one just opens up doors for them that many other people would have to bend the truth for, beg, borrow, and steal for, and things like that. And so I just feel like that is definitely a part of your repertoire when you consider your Three of Cups that you already have. Give me a second. And I want to make a clear message about what I mean when I say Three of Cups. I mean that you in the Four of Cups, the fourth cup is something that you're kind of hoping for, and or that is being used as a distraction, and kind of like coveted for, to insinuate that you're not as whole as you are. But this is a very solid pile, male or female, with the World card here and the Strength card. I don't know if I finished reading the cards that came out for you, but the World card and the Strength card are here, and it tells me that you have learned from the lessons that have been that you've been put through. Like, there has been a lot of character development that you are very much so a solid version of yourself. Like, you didn't fold. And I think that that's definitely being emphasized with the Strength card, right? It's not enough that you are the King and the Queen of Pentacles, right? Which is a very grounded, strong, founded, individual, right? Whole individual, right? Divine masculine, divine feminine energy. But then you have the World card, which does also talk about completion, so as well as the Strength card. So you have been tried and true to it, who it is that you are. So another thing that you should be grateful for is, one, all of the lessons that you have gone through that have made you who you are. One, two, the fact that your character has the level of credibility that it has. And I believe that this is unspoken. Like, you don't have to speak it. It's who you are. It's in your blood. It's not in you. It's not on you. It's in you. And it's very clear. You know, with the Strength card, you have tamed your demons, for lack of better words. Like, you have gone up against a lot of terrible things, and you have come out of it with your integrity and your character intact. Not much can be said against you because of all of these things, and because it speaks for itself. And so I think that the reminder here is, and I really love this, because if I kept it in and didn't edit it out, after shuffling and pulling cards for all of the piles here, the Nine of Cups was the underlying energy. It was the underlying card, which also represents the underlying energy of the reading itself. And I decided to have that alongside the spreads themselves. And I say that to say that for advice, pile 1, in your times of distraction, in your times of turbulence, in your times of doubt, I want you to not only picture your Four of Cups and accept that the doubts and the distractions and the energies of, you know, that would try to derail you from being positive about the Three of Cups that are on the ground, that are already in your possessions. I want you to acknowledge that floating cup as what it is. Like I said, a distraction, you know, external noise, and you transmute that cup, that one floating cup, into 5 more cups, because the Nine of Cups is 5 more cups than the Four of Cups. And what I'm seeing is, if you don't attach yourself to that floating cup, that one floating distracting cup, if you don't attach yourself and you instead transmute it into something that is more on your frequency, that, right? Because, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to preach. If you can transmute it, if you use your energy, if you use your strength and your power of character, of perseverance, to transmute that one distracting cup into 5 more cups, you are going to, it's not going to take long at all for it to become the Nine of Cups, for you to experience that satisfaction, that abundance of happiness and joy that the Nine of Cups is depicting is available for you. And so I hope that this helps pile number 1. If you were attracted to any other pile, I definitely suggest that you go and check it out. Check out other content on this channel, and I will see you in another reading. Bye. All right. Pile number 3 begins at 2004. Okay. Pile number 2. Shout out to pile number 2. What's going on here? What's going on here? You don't got the the big boy cards, right? And I'm going to use the 9 of Cups to... I love this movie. All right, so pile number 2. Alrighty, and so if you chose pile number 2, this is your pile. We had the 3 of Pentacles, the 9 of... Give me a second. Yep, the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the King of Cups, and the High Priestess. And then we have the underlying energy as the 9 of Cups. If you give me a moment, I want to just sit in this energy really quick. The question is, what do you have right now to be grateful for? So there could be partnerships around you. You could have different things that you're in the process of building, right? Some things that you may have used your mental energy for. You may have even used your take action type of quick-witted, some type of knowledge that you have developed over time. And I would even say you've taken action towards things as you have learned them. Like you just kind of quickly move forward with certain ideas or inspiration. And if I'm reading this right, and I'm a pretty good reader, I'm a pretty intuitive queen, you don't see it coming depicted with the High Priestess, but I just see it that there is a time that is on its way that is depicting that something very grounded, right? I'm seeing the right, like partnerships. I said that early, but I said, right, this is what I'm going to say, and I'm not going to hesitate. Let me just say it. There are partnerships that you might be anxious about. I would even say business relationships that are happening or can happen, that you might be not seeing, and it might be causing you some anxiety about, but there are some things that you have taken action toward that are meant and will and can bring you abundance as it pertains to materials as well as emotions. Yes, I see you being an emotionally mature person. So, maybe there's some charm about you that is also highlighted in what you can be grateful for. I keep seeing different versions of 2, 3, 4 on the timer. And so I feel like you've built this. I feel like you've taken steps. I feel like maybe any parts of anxiety that you're having depicted with the 9 of Swords is coming from the fact that it has taken so long. Maybe with the Knight of Swords, you might not know that you are as good as you do come across. But I do feel like there are some very solid people in your network. I do feel like your guidance is very solid and divine. I do feel like it is possible that when you go with the flow, when you go with the flow of your mind, that you could be seeing not a lot moving. However, I'm seeing that with the 10 of, the King of Cups is sitting somewhere between the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. And I say that to say, but it's also touching the 9 of Swords. And I say this to say that you may not see, it's also touching the High Priestess. You may not see with your eyes how things are working out for you, but they are working out for you, is what I'm definitely seeing. I also feel like there is a level of achievement that you have now with the Nine of Cups as the underlying energy, and then the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles kind of showing what's to come, or showing what's available, showing what's in the energy. Let me say this, and I understand it's not easy, especially when there's so many different things that are battling for your mental space. What I would say is put a little more faith in your network. And I have no idea why I said that. I think that you might know. Yeah, I don't even know nothing about that. But I would say, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, like, it's like you really have to decide what you want to focus on. To be honest with you, I feel like with the Knight of Swords, there might be a level of immaturity when it comes to your not emotional health, or excuse me, not your emotional intelligence, because I am seeing with the King of Cups, you are someone who is very emotionally intelligent. And so maybe that's something that you can be grateful for now. You could be grateful for your divine guidance and your divine ability to feel like things are happening in the ethers, even if you can't see them physically now. Right? And so, and then another thing to be grateful for is the actions that you've already taken, the ways in which you've already networked, the ways in which you've already impacted those around you, and the ways that they see you. Because another thing that I'm seeing is these people could be rooting for you. You could have people rooting for you. And so instead of kind of hoping and focusing on the fact that not much has changed in the 3D, right, or things are taking its time to come into flourishing, you can be grateful for now the fact that people are cheering you on, that you are someone who has done things in the past that you have to be grateful for now, and that's whether you see that materialize right now or not. A part of me wanted to say you should be grateful that you even give a damn about your life and how it's going. I would even say, and that's what I wanted to say before I said have faith in your network. Granted, do that. I just saw a variation of 1010 on the timer. And that's what I was going to say. I'm so grateful that the universe is bringing me back to the messages. I'm going to tell you to start being grateful and start transmuting that energy that your network has for you to succeed. Start using that energy to start being grateful for the blessings and the abundance that wants to come in with the Nine of Cups and the overall underlying energy. I'm thinking that you're going to need to use that positive energy to transmute it into those 10 of Pentacles. Transmute it into that 10 of Cups. Use it, like, not latch onto it, but use it, and you, like, say it's you, like, picture your network, right? This is them on one side of you, and you're in between you and your network is an equal sign, and on the other side of the equal sign, transmute their positive energy towards you succeeding, right? It's their positive energy plus you succeeding, they're wishing for you to succeed, equals you transmuting that energy into the abundance that you want to see at the end of y'all's working relationship. And not to say that it has to end at the end of one project or one meeting or one contract or any of the things, but use their optimism, including your own, right? Not to hope that things go well, but to visualize things going well. and to kind of using that to add to their well wishes, because I am seeing that these energies are in effect, and your energy could be so much in not opposition, but just not helping the situation, because it is more so anxious and doubtful. So don't be doubtful. I was going to say be careful. Just change your frown upside down. Okay, pile 2. Feel free to check out any other pile if that's what you were called to. Check out any other reading if that's what you're called to. Subscribe if that's something you haven't done yet and you feel called to. Otherwise, I will see you later. All right, later. Pile number 3 begins at 3131, and I really wish I could have wrote all of that down. It is what it is, so. Baby, I'm all right. Don't start with me. Alrighty, pile number 3. Let me sit in this energy. If you chose pile number 3, hello, welcome. We are discussing the topic of what do you have to be grateful for right now. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to sit with your cards and get your message. Pile number 3. I got the 8 of Swords, 3 of Swords, Queen of Wands. Oh, shoot. Queen of Wands, 3 of Wands, 7 of Wands. So it's not lost upon me that the Queen of Wands is in the middle of these 2 different, almost like timelines, these different timelines, right? The swords are on this side, and then the wands are on this side, and this feels like it's more aligned because these are wands and this is the Queen of Wands, and these are swords. And so the 8 of Wands talks about like being in your head, maybe even being trapped, maybe in conjunction with the 3 of Swords. It could be kind of alluding to having emotional, like having a emotionally induced anxiety, having an emotional attachment to something or someone, some timeline, some place, some idea. And then, sure, and feeling trapped overall. So that's what I'm getting. Pile number 3, you're no longer trapped. If you do resonate with this pile, at some point you might have felt as if there were certain things, places, or people that you were not going to ever experience freedom from. You could have been, well, I don't necessarily think you were physically imprisoned, because the 8 of Swords talks about a self-induced anxiety, and feeling stuck when you have the power to release yourself. And so I think that there was a level of anxiety attached to an idea of being entrapped and, maybe isolated, maybe even like stuck, right? For less better words. Yes. And so what you have to be grateful for is the available expansion that, perhaps there is opportunities and inspirations that you're getting to expand, to travel, to, here, I want to see what, you went to sleep? I don't play like that. Right. Like there's like a level of like it's some new beginnings for sure. Absolutely. I feel like you might have grown some new you might have developed some boundaries is what I first saw earlier on. Like excuse me. You might have experienced certain things that put you in a situation emotionally where it was very hard to overcome. It was maybe even hard to see yourself living a life without these people, places, or things. It could have been also that you just may have not seen a way out. However, what you have to be grateful for now is one, your attractiveness. I am seeing that. You are somebody who, maybe is very magical in your own right. Right? You may have a newfound level of independence and poise about you. For sure. That's depicted with the Queen of Wands. However, there's also these new regulations that you now have. You have beliefs, and you might even seem to be on guard, but you are someone who has the whole world ahead of you is what's really coming up. And this is more aligned with you. So the ways in which you have to be grateful for is being able to have released things that are no longer aligned with you, release mindsets, habits, people, places, things, but also just like behaviors, right? Because we kind of accept the kind of love that we think we deserve, but it feels like there's a level of self-satisfaction now. We talked about independence. It feels like there's like a better knowing of yourself now that, I want to say it this way, no one can take from you. You have what no one can take from you. And one of the things that I have personally accepted in my life when it comes to achieving things like that, no one can take it from you. That's real wealth, right? And so we don't see any pinnacles here, but if there were anything that represents wealth to me, and maybe you at this point, pile 3, is when you have something that nobody can take from you, that is real wealth. And that's what you have to be grateful for. You have to be grateful for your newfound sense of self. You have to be grateful for the ways in which these situations are no longer in your life, and they're no longer on your frequency, which means that they can no longer sit at the table with you. So you don't ever have to worry about these types of people, these types of places, these types of things resurfacing, because it's not at a vibrational like frequency. You are going to experience new beginnings. You are seeing new beginnings. And you are a different version of yourself that's going to be able to navigate accordingly and poised in those spaces that are going to be of like energy. So get ready. What you have to be grateful for is that you're going to start experiencing new aligned experiences. Maybe people aren't going to oppose you as much as those past people did. Maybe the places, people, and things are going to be of an energetic match to you versus when you were whoever you were in the past and you felt stuck. Pile number 3, this one's pretty simple and straightforward. I would say that if you are at a crossroads with this energy and you're not seeing it physically manifesting your life right now, that you are in the middle of this shift, of this transition, and that you have a lot to be grateful for, even if you can't physically at this moment see it. So I hope this helped, pile 3. And I want to say, just because this is where you might be getting a wardrobe upgrade, your hair might be changing, and you might be getting a lot of people looking at you differently. I want to say, like the style of your clothes might I'm just getting this because of this intuitive message. Like I have a movie on in the background. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, The Devil Wears Prada. And it just showed where Annie comes up from Nigel, or from complaining to Nigel about her treatment and her experience with Miranda Priestley. And while I was about to close out your message, pile number 3, while I was about to close out your message, Annie walks in. 2 people, so you may end up running into people who've seen you before. It may or may not be the same antagonizers that you knew before, but you may be around or some way exhibiting your newfound style. And you are going to wow these people. You are going to shock these people. And so it's not to say that you have to be grateful for them being shocked, but what I would say is that you do have it to be grateful for the ways in which you are upgrading, because you deserve it, and because you were able to move through that energy and create a new energy. And so you could be grateful for some new style that you develop, some new clothes that you may come into, in the ways in which that you are going to be impressing those who may not have seen it for you. Pile number 3, that is your message. Please check out other content, other piles if you were called to. Subscribe if you're called to. And I will see you when I see you. All right, pile number 4. Pile number 4, if you chose this pile, then this is your reading. The topic is, let me tell you what the topic is. The topic is, what do you have to be grateful for right now? I just saw 4224, which is, I don't know if dichotomy is the word, which I will look it up. I don't mind looking it up. We talked about tabulated before. Dichotomy. Simple. It is especially 2 opposites or mutually exclusive groups. It is, as far as I'm concerned, it is a dichotomy. It is the same, it's a division. It's 2 different, numbers, but they were like the same. It's a division into 2 especially mutually exclusive or contradicting groups, whatever. Dichotomy might be important for this group. I don't quite understand the definition at this very moment, but I did at one time use it really good and accurately in a rant. And yes, let's move along. All right, pile number 4. You may or may not have been attracted to other piles. Either way, welcome to your pile, and let's get it started. I'm just gonna sit with this energy of the reading, and I'll let you know. Okay. This is what I'm getting, and I have no idea what that one pile was about, but I think I do anyway, because again, it's almost, it doesn't feel like a continuation. I just know what the reading was about, so it almost feels like they're relevant. But before I get into all of that, I just want to say that we do have a ascending ascending sequence of numbers in the same suit, and I feel as if this reflects, one, we could definitely look up the angel number, see if there's some relevance, but 2, what I also feel like is that you have done some work. You've definitely gone through some steps. And when you have gone through those things, okay, so we do have the 7 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Pentacles. And so the 789 angel number represents, or the message is, a strong encouragement to follow your spiritual path with courage and optimism, especially as you navigate new opportunities and changes. It's a message to trust your intuition and the guidance of your angels, embracing new experiences and decisions with confidence. Stay focused on your spiritual journey and trust your inner wisdom and guidance. New opportunities, the new doors are opening up for you, and you should embrace them fearlessly, knowing they align with your soul's purpose. It says it emphasizes the importance of listening to your intuition and trusting your guidance you receive from your angels as you make decisions that navigates life's changes. Is a reminder to be open to changes, to see it as positive opportunity for growth and transformation. Determination, optimism. Sure. And I just wanted to make sure that we got every version that we could so that we can lock down a message. Or excuse me, so that if anything comes up as we go along, we have already touched those bases. All right, pile number 4. Let's talk about it. What do you have to be grateful for? You've done the work. The 7 of Pentacles, right? I think that you've done all of the different seasons, the work seasons. You've reaped. You have, perfected your craft. You have accepted the responsibility of being the one to harvest. Why you say it like that? You have done the work of the journey, right? And this is very solid. And so I do remember the pile that I kind of related to this pile, and I can absolutely see why and how they're connected, but I want to respect this pile and give you your own reading. And so the topic is, what do you have to be grateful for? You have to be grateful for your tenacity. One of the things that I was asking for when I got to this part of the piles, because I didn't ask it fully throughout shuffling for the other piles, but once it got to the final pile, this one, I remember, and maybe the last one, but I was just like, what material things do they have to be grateful for? Because there's a lot of times where I might go into a reading for blessings that I have to look forward to, or things that things that are coming in that I'm not expecting, blah, blah, blah. And it'll be, oh, you have to look forward to emotional intelligence development opportunities, or just different things that are not going to affect. I mean, they do energetically and vibrationally affect the 3D, so it's not like I'm dismissing all of it, but at some point you want to hear about the things that are going to impact you materially. And so what you do have to be grateful for, I am seeing that pile number 4 with the 3 of Cups. You do have a time of celebration, and I kept hearing celebration. And it's very subtle, so it's not, so maybe this is going to come in quietly, right? Maybe it's going to come in very subtly, but it is based off of work that you've already put in. It's based off of skills that you've developed over time, skills and work that you've sown and maybe didn't know or have any satisfactory outburst like realization of the fruit. But I do want to say that with the sequence 7, 8, 9, that the 9, if nothing else, symbolizes a level of upgrade that you have experienced to be grateful for, right, like a level of upgrade, a level of breakthrough. Like, you are someone, and I'll boldly say this just because I've seen it in the other piles, you have boldly reached a level of alignment, pile 4, that you should definitely be patting yourself on the back for. And I want to say that this came after a lot of trial and error. You know, the 7 of Pentacles isn't always about sowing seeds. It's also about sowing seeds and waiting for the harvest, sowing seeds and maybe being bored, maybe being unsatisfied, maybe investing without a sure date or time frame of benefit. And so with the 9 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups, I just feel like there has been, at least at this point, a level of carrying out the work and skill development that you've gone through already, that you're soon going to be able to celebrate. The 10 of Wands at the end of it, because I'm seeing 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, and then the 10 of Wands. If that's not the sequence of completion, I don't know what is. And I say that to say that the 10 of Wands doesn't always mean that you are someone who is burdened, which you could have been, right? It could have been a very fruitless time where you were burdened, but I am seeing that you are at a space where what you have to be grateful for is that the times are changing. The 10 has to go back to the 1 at some point, and that's what I'm seeing. That's what you have to be grateful for. There is a time of celebration that's going to make you feel like right, it's going to make you exhale. It's going to be something that you know and accept as the breakthrough. The 9 of Cups, that is overall. Just seeing. Yeah, I do. I just see that there is a level of time where you're going to, even if it is subtle, because I remember hearing celebration, but it wasn't like a 4 of Wands kind of energy. It was more of a subtle, yes, a subtle nod from the universe, like you see it wasn't all in vain. And so I see that the 9 of Cups is coming to you. And so what you have to be grateful for, pile 4, is that it wasn't all in vain. And that even in the event that the celebration is not yet, that it will be. And so be grateful for this message and this reassurance, because perhaps that's what the gratefulness is your self-development, but also the fact that this reading is reassurance that you indeed are on the precipice. And I don't use that word often, but you are on the precipice of a breakthrough. It's coming for you, and you will be grateful for it in no time. That's what I heard, in no time. And so I hope that this helps. Yeah, I hope it wasn't too short. Feel free to check out any other pile that you may have been called to. I'm also seeing with the pile 4, I'm also seeing that the 5 of Cups is in the reverse. And so in any way, give me a second, the 5 of Cups talks about, very similar to another pile, if you were coming from that pile, the pile of, the 5 of Cups in the upright depicts someone who has 3 cups already in their possession, and then there is a 4th one that is just trying to come to them, that they may or may not want, but they're unsatisfied with what they have. And so it could be a distraction, it could not be a distraction. The 5 of Cups is someone who has 4 cups behind them, or something like that. Maybe they have 3 cups behind them, and then there's 2 cups that have fallen that are in front of them, and they're only focused on the 2 cups that are fallen. They're not considering the 3 cups, which is the common theme, with this pile and another pile. But the Five of Cups talks about not seeing the fact that a breakthrough is on the horizon. I just saw the Five of Cups in the reverse, and I wasn't reading reversals unless I was called to, and I'm called to tell you pile number 5, pile number 5, pile number 4, if there is something that you've been unsatisfied with, or you've been looking too closely at your situation, not knowing when, where, and how there is going to be a breakthrough coming, I want you to know that there is a breakthrough coming, which is what this message is. But I also, I guess I want you to know that you're not going to be feeling that way for long. And I say this to say, because I've had to give this advice, whether it was to myself or other people, take it day by day. What's another one? There's a one, just in case you're feeling anyway, you know, I know how patronizing it can be for someone to tell you to get help if you need it, but I understand what you could be going through. What I want to let you know is that it's to live today, right? Like, not be okay today, but there's a message, and it's gotten me through certain times, and it's just that it's like, live. If all you do today is, you know, make it through, if all you do today is live, just live, because there is something to live for. And even if you can't see what that is in this moment, live through this moment, live through this day, and keep doing that as time goes, because there is one of these days that you're going to have something to celebrate. And so that will do it for you, pile number 4. I am forever going to be wishing you the best, wishing you peace. Go and speak to someone if you need to. Hug yourself, love yourself, take a nap. Just make it, okay? You're going to be all right. See you in another pile if this is the end of your readings for today. And talk to you later. Bye.